There are many things in this world I don't understand. I don't understand why anyone would think Pepsi's better than Coke. Don't get it whatsoever. I don't understand why Aaron Sparrow thinks Gremlins 2 is anywhere as good as the first one. He actually thinks it's better. Absolute madness. And I certainly don't understand how Tini Howard keeps getting work in comic books. Even DC brought her over and has put her on DC's Batman-related titles, mostly Catwoman, but she's about to be on Harley Quinn as well. It's like, how many characters can this person torch before you realize she has no idea actually how to write comic books? She wants to be a LARPer. She wants to write D&D fanfic and stuff like that. She's absolutely clueless as to why her X-Men comic books for Marvel have not gotten over. None of them work. In fact, let's be honest, nothing she has written at Marvel or DC really has worked whatsoever. She destroyed sales on Catwoman. She wrote a boring Thanos comic book. Didn't know it was possible. Tini Howard was able to complete that. I think she also did some Thunderbolt, stuff like that. Never, ever gotten over with comic books and never will get over. She's not a has-been. She's a never will be. That's who Tini Howard is, because she will never learn from her mistakes. This week, she talked to Adventures in Poor Taste for X-Men Monday, because we've got this new Bettsy Braddock, Captain Britain ongoing thing. It's on its third iteration. She's literally been writing the character for 4 years, been rebooted 3 times now, does not get why this isn't working, and that is 100% apparent within this interview. I'm not going to talk about everything she says because, quite frankly, it's boring. She's not really an interesting person, but I did highlight a few things here, and I am not joking. When I read these answers from Tini Howard, and I might take some liberties with some, some tone, maybe make fun of it a little bit. But these are 100% quotes from Tini Howard from the interview. I did not have to make any of this stuff up. She sounds this stupid. These are the things that she says in real life. First question. Excalibur #1 was released October 30th, 2019. That means you've had the privilege of writing the same character for roughly 4 years, a rarity in modern comics. What is it about writing Miss Braddock that doesn't get old for you? This is what old Tini Howard had to say. I think what doesn't get old for me is that we've seen so little of her like this. Her in her own body, inside her own mind, in charge of her own life. I think we've gotten to give her a cause and a drive and a job. And it just all feels like fresh territory all the time for Betsy. Absolutely it is, because you haven't actually been writing Betsy Braddock, Psylocke, or the actual character that exists in Marvel Comics in the 616. You've just been making stuff up for like 4 years now. But having a character rebooted and restarted like 3 times in 4 years, unfortunately, is not an uncommon occurrence in comic books. Certainly not for Marvel Comics. This is getting embarrassing. This is getting to Captain Marvel territory. Once this new series is over, which will last maybe 6 issues, 8 at the most. There's no way this makes it past 8 because there will be no sales. The character doesn't have enough cachet to actually stay above like the 12,000 order threshold. It will sink like a rock. Actually, it won't even sink like a rock. It'll never even debut inside the top 100. There's absolutely no way, because Tini Howard is a fraud. X-Men writers know they don't want to read Tini Howard stories, and they certainly don't want to read her take on Betsy Braddock. They like the Psylocke character. They don't like her stealing her brother's job, his position within Marvel Comics as Captain Britain. Yet Jordan White, Sarah Brunstad, and the brain trust at the X-Men office, the editorial staff, continue to let her fail time and time again, never taking her to the side and saying, you know what, Tini, this isn't working. Let's find a new angle. Let's find a new direction to where we can actually, sell some comic books. Maybe we could generate interest in the character, because what you're doing right now is failing constantly. We've had to reboot you 3 times in 4 years, and every time we have to do it, it's getting faster. You'll be lucky to make it 3 issues this time. But let's be honest, Jordan White, Sarah Brunstad, and the X-Men editorial office are as clueless as Adventures of Poor Taste and Tini Howard, bragging about doing the character for 4 years and getting rebooted 3 times. That's a real success story. Little slow clap for Tini Howard and the idiots at Marvel Comics. Next question. Having written her across 3 series, has your appreciation for the character changed in any ways? This is what old Tini Howard had to say. It was great to have writers like Brian Hill and Zeb Wells writing Quanon as well, so that when I wrote a story about them coming together, it felt fully realized women having a conversation and not just narrative fixing-iting. That's a gift of having got to write her so long. Oh my God, that sounds really wrong. I mean, we've just given her a public girlfriend for the first time. That's a whole new level of appreciation for writing her that's new to me. So your level for appreciation for writing the character is that you've changed her to such a degree that she's no longer actually Bettsy Braddock. And that's the only way you can appreciate the character. You can't make this stuff up. This is Marvel Comics in 2023 now. Same as Marvel Comics in 2022 and 2020 and 2021 and 2019 and, I don't know, 2015. This is Marvel Comics for the past 5-10 years. It's just a succession of depressing ideas that never work, where they go to the same well over and over and over. No one cares that Betsy has a girlfriend because she's not a lesbian. Actually, people that have been reading the character for, I don't know, decades at this point, actually know who the character is. That's why everything that you do with Betsy Braddock, by calling her, Captain Britain, which she's not, saying that she's a lesbian, which she's not making her Psylocke, which she actually is. That's why it's all been rejected, because you're an idiot. This is the next question. What was it about Betsy and Rachel that made you think they'd be even better together? This is what old Tini Howard had to say. There are definitely a lot of great examples in the text of them being there for each other and looking hot together, like any of the great ships, but most of it came about just naturally during the Krakoan era. I consider using Rachel in Excalibur from the beginning, but she was first a big player in Jonathan Hickman's X-Men book, and then Leah Williams' X-Factor. I have to credit Leah with this part, because as two queer women writing these characters, so much of the relationship came about from story planning, from being queer women and writing these characters who, for a lot of reasons, Rachel's stories with Kitty, Betsy's affair with Cluster, were adopted by fans as being into women. I don't really think they have been adopted into fans. I don't think anybody buys any of this stuff. I love the whole, we're two queer women. It's like, you're literally right now co-writing a series at DC Comics with your husband. Once you've decided to take the ring, once you've gotten married, you have definitively declared your side. You're not a lesbian. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. Maybe you kissed a girl in college. Perhaps, you may even fantasize about other girls. I have no idea. I don't really know you. But just saying, we're just the two queerest folk women that you'll ever find in your life. You're married to a dude. You're literally co-writing a story, a punchline story. I don't know. Who gives a shit? No one knows who her husband is either. But because Lee and I, we both say we're into chicks, we got to change these women that have been well-defined for decades and make them also gay, even though the characters aren't gay either. It's, I don't know. Is that meta commentary? Is Tini Howard really just a genius and is doing something so underneath the surface and clever? I just now got it? I don't think so. I think probably she's just clueless and doesn't realize just how dumb she looks every time she speaks like this. And I imagine, and I believe, I've never spoken to her, and she seems nice enough in interviews. I've listened to a couple of them on YouTube, but I think if you went and talked to her, that's probably how stupid she would sound. Lee Williams, too. I believe they probably both, in real life, sound as dumb as they come off in these interviews on Adventures in Poor Taste. I almost kind of feel bad for them, but I don't, because it's good content for the channel. But there's a reason Marvel Comics X-Men line is absolutely dead right now. Tini Howard's a big reason. Leah Williams a big reason. The biggest reason, obviously, is Jordan White, because, I don't know, he won't clean house. He has no clue. He doesn't know why things aren't working, even though it's clear as day to everyone else in the entire world, in the entire comic world. Hey, this is what your problem is. It's what? There's a problem? We're not trying to sell comic books here. We're trying to change the world. Get out of here with your stupid mustache. This is the final question we'll talk about. You've also written Catwoman and Punchline with Harley Quinn on the way. Let's say Captain Britain and Ascani hop universes. Which of these three do they hit off with the most? This is what old Tini Howard had to say. Oh, God, Selena for sure. Sexy, queer, likes expensive things. Actually, Betsy might like her so much Rachel would get jealous. I think Betsy would block Harley's number, but nicely, in a nice way. She'd say hi to her at parties, but maybe not be able to handle them being phone number close. You know what I mean? Betsy's not super patient. And Punchline is, well, she's smart, but she's not powerful psychic smart. She'd step to our girls getting mouthy and get psychically creamed. Sorry, Alexis, I love you, but it's true. She really said that. I'm not making this up. Now, I did do the voice. I did the voice, but that's what this idiot sounds like. You can't dress this stuff up. You can't make it up. And you wonder why things aren't working out at Marvel Comics. Tini Howard doesn't wonder why. because for some reason she's clueless as to why everything that she touches at Marvel and DC Comics turns to shit essentially immediately. Because you can't write comic books. You don't want to write comic books. You want to use the characters and the platform to get over whatever it is you're trying to get over. At this point, I don't think anyone even cares. They're just kind of mocking you and laughing at you and going, yeah, she's as dumb as I thought she probably was. And that's, it's like, I have fun with these, but my goodness, it's hard to take Marvel Comics seriously, especially the X-Men line, when you continue hiring people like Tini Howard, Jerry Duggan, Steve Fox, Leah Williams, Vita Allen, basically the whole crew. There's like 1.5 talented writers in the X-Men office right now. I still think Al Ewing, when he wants to be there, like he's still pretty solid. And Kieran Gillen, half the time he's good, and then the other half he just does like Axe Judgment Day, where you're like, who replaced Kieran Gillen with fucking Tini Howard? That's like the way it goes. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe all the untalented hacks in the X-Men Slack are just rubbing off on Kieran Gillen and making him a worse writer too. I'm not really sure, but hey, this woman is absolutely clueless. She doesn't know what's going on. In fact, not that long ago, she went to her Substack newsletter, which probably has about, 250 subscribers or something like that. Who knows? Can't be much more than that. Let's just put it that way. There's no interest in Tini Howard or Tini Howard comics or Tini Howard anything, really. But she likes to brag about how successful she is as her comic book is literally being rebooted 3 times in 4 years. This isn't success. This is pathetic. Definitely watch this. If you can't see the video here, there's also a link in the video description.